Hello, internet friends, and welcome back to another Momo's Art Corner. I'm actually gonna do this one straight voiceover today because honestly, I'm tired and I didn't want to get all dolled up to sit on camera. So it is what it is, y'all. We're just gonna rock the voice today, real podcast vibes. So, in the spirit of doing what I said I would and continuing my painting journey, I am today gonna be delving into a new favorite chip of mine because if you've seen my previous gouache video, you know that I'm doing kind of like ships that I like in media as my inspiration for all my gouache pieces. So I'm diving into a new favorite ship, and maybe it's a more niche one, maybe, I don't know, you tell me. But I'm painting Rena, which is Ricky times Gina from High School Musical, the series. Now listen, I'm not afraid to admit that I am a huge HSMU buff. That's High School Musical universe for the uninitiated. And recently I delved into the world that is High School Musical, the series, and I loved it. So when I was thinking about ships that I wanted to paint for the next one, I could have gone Troy and Gabriella. But I don't really bang with them like that. And you know, it's Team Sharpay 5 Eva. So instead of abandoning the HSMU, I pulled this little dark horse from the mix. But the real reason for this season, the real reason I'm making this video today is actually because I wanted to talk about style and finding your style when it comes to art. Now, I haven't thought about style in ages or worried about style in ages, but when it came to this piece, I realized while painting it, that I was actually being held back by my own trying to fit a specific style. When it comes down to it, I've always held to the fact that style is it's kind of like your handwriting. It's not something that you necessarily control, it's just something that comes naturally. And I still believe that, but I think when I started working on this piece, because it was so present of mind trying to fit a certain look, that it just came flooding back, thinking about how exactly do I make style work, or what is it about style that holds us back. So after working about 20 minutes or so into this piece, and it was fully in its ugly phase, I was getting super frustrated, and I just said, all right, you know what, I'm gonna just do me. And I followed my art instincts on how to paint it, and you guys, that's when the magic started happening. That's when it started turning out. Now, did it turn out exactly like I had envisioned? No. But it did turn out a lot closer to what I was going for, and it fit a lot better to the style or the look that I wanted when I stopped thinking about it so hard. So keeping that in mind, I kind of came up with 5 really quick tips to think about when one is trying to consider style with their drawing or develop their own style. So tip number 1, sketch, explore, experiment. I know everyone says it. I know it comes up all the time, but it's actually the best. The best thing you could do is just to draw what comes naturally, draw from life, see how your brain is approaching different subjects. Once again, if you saw the last video, you know I love a control, okay? Taking it back to high school science, we need a control piece. We need to know what we're working with. How is it that your brain is approaching all these subject matters to start? Tip number 2, study the art that you like. If you like Renaissance Disney princess art, then I'm gonna need to see you Googling Renaissance Disney princess art and trying to figure out okay, that's how they draw their eyes. Cool, got it. How are they proportioning their bodies? Interesting. How do they make a cluster of leaves on a tree? Cool. Because, seeing how they have made choices can help inform how you would make choices in the future. So you just, you got to get your references together. You got to know what it is that you're working towards. Tip number 3, and this one's my favorite because it's a little controversial, copy. Now listen, one of the biggest things that you do when you're in any art course or at art classes are called master studies. And that's basically when you try to repaint the work of a quote-unquote painting master. So some sort of Renaissance-y painter. You might take a little Leonardo da Vinci and try to recreate his pieces. And you do that in order to learn to physically go through the motions of trying to understand how they made lighting and how they create like how they formed the body and stuff like that. Now you can do it. I'm saying to basically do that same thing, but with art that you actually want to make. So if you like the title card art for Adventure Time, then go ahead and make you a master study of the title card art for Adventure Time. Now listen, don't go posting telling people that I told you to steal now. That's not what I said. Do not put your name on things that you didn't actually come up with. But for the purposes of education and art education, make a master study of the art that you actually want to make. Tip number 4, embrace the ugly phase. Vanity is going to be the death of us, okay? Sometimes when you're making art, it's going to have to be ugly in the middle parts. It's just, it is what it is. It's growing pains. We just have to like let that happen and be at peace with it and not abandon ship just because it's a little ugly right now, all right? Like she's working through it. We're gonna get there. Just let her be ugly for right now so we can fix it up. I promise at the end it's gonna look so good. We just gotta embrace it. And my final tip is let it all go. I think once you've studied everything and you've practiced everything and you've looked at all the reference points and, you know, you've done your art studies till your hands are numb, it's almost a memory after that, okay? We worked out the brain, she's doing her thing, and we just gotta let what comes naturally come naturally. Your style is a mishmash of everything you love and everything you know. So if you fed your brain everything that you wanted, whatever it comes back with, honey, that's your style. Now, listen, your style can change and you can have multiple styles. I think that's important to remember. Sometimes when I draw more realistic things, it looks very different from when I'm going for a purposefully more cartoony look. It's fine. That's just, I have multiple ways of writing. If we're keeping the handwriting analogy for style, it's like when you write in cursive versus when you write in script. It's two very different things. You just have different styles, and that's cool too. Don't let nobody pigeonhole you, okay? Your style is an enigma, just like you. I'm playing, but I think the most important piece of the puzzle is don't stress about it. Just do what comes naturally. You can see on the screen now, this is my final. I think we can all agree it looks a lot better than that first. Go back and watch that gouache piece with the Power Rangers. You'll see what I'm talking about. But that brings us to the end of our little chat today. If you enjoyed this little art corner, or if you're just a fan of High School Musical, the musical, the series, or you're a super fan of Remo, I receive all agreeable opinions in the form of likes, comments, and subscribes. Or if you learned something new today and you're like, maybe I'll stick around for another one, subscribe for more art stuff. All the good stuff. I don't know. I'll catch y'all on the internet later. Okay, guys. Bye.